This is the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on June the 8th, 2012. Our time is 8:44 Mountain, 10:44 Eastern. The radio show runs on AM 640 in Toronto, QR 77 in Calgary, 630 CHED in Edmonton. If you ever miss a radio show, they are archived on Harold's websites, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, HESradio.com. You can sign up for our podcast. Take the show anywhere you go with your portable device. We are portable, and you can take us with you. If you'd like to invest in precious metals, there's only one company Harold recommends you use. That is Worldwide Precious Metals. Their telephone number is 1-866-623-2002. The website is wwpmc.com. We'll talk about why you want to have hard assets in your portfolio throughout the entire show. And if you want to have an allocation of precious metals, speak with Worldwide. On the diamond front, Harold's website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. He also has another website, hsfineauctions.com. And we'll talk about, a little later in the show, an auction that is coming up you don't want to miss. And Harold has some amazing diamonds at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. It's like going to a museum and taking a look at some of the world's greatest diamonds online. Go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com or speak with Harold at 1-800-432-1022. It was a crazy week. Harold is going to give us a rundown here shortly, but we had Ben Bernanke speaking in front of Congress. Quantitative easing 3, if necessary. The Wall Street Journal's John Hillenstrath, he is a top-notch reporter, and he's really tied in with the Fed. He's saying at their next meeting, it will definitely be on the table. Greece is going broke. They don't have the tax money coming in. Their money is drying up. George Soros came out this week and said, the Eurozone has about 3 months to fix this problem. And you take a look at what's happening in Greece. They're going to be voting on June 17th for a new government. If it doesn't go the right way, Greece is out of the Eurozone. They have 22% unemployment. Spain's banks need bailouts. $40 billion to start, could top $100 billion. And then to top it off, Harold, before we get to your analysis, the Congressional Budget Office out of the United States came out this week and said the United States is heading for a financial crisis of its own without changes. The U.S. national debt will double in 15 years. And Fitch, the rating agency, says that in 2013, if the United States does not come up with a debt reduction plan, a serious, credible plan, their debt rating will be lowered again. And we saw gold go to $1,900 after that happened. So quantitative easing 3 or not, Harold, the setup for, we're saying diamonds, gold, and silver is still fantastic.
I believe that to be 100% true, Randy. It is a very confusing and volatile time and very, very frightening if you're reading the headlines. Basically, this week was a very mixed week. Last Friday, we saw gold go up $65, and we saw silver go up over $1.20 on the day. And we actually had gold back above 1,600. We had silver basically trading right at 30. In fact, it broke 30 temporarily at the beginning of the week. And then you had Bernanke talk this week, and they said they weren't going to do, at this particular point, QE3. And you saw the market sell off a bit, but not as heavily, because I don't think that people really believe that we're not going to see QE3. In fact, I believe 100% that we're going to see it, not only in the U.S., but we're going to see it in Europe, and it's going to be extremely inflationary. You see, the problem is that the Fed and the U.S. government and the European governments are in a catch-22. See, the Fed is concerned with inflation, and they think that if they come out with QE3, it's going to be extremely inflationary, which is 100% true. Because when they do come out with QE3, a couple things will happen. Number one, stocks and commodities will rally very strong, just like we saw, as Randy mentioned at the beginning of the show, when gold went to 1,900. That was primarily due to quantitative easing, and the same thing with silver when it went to over 50. Now, they're watching inflation, so the catch-22 is this. Come out with QE3 and watch the U.S. dollar plummet, watch stocks and commodity prices skyrocket, and at that particular point, what you're going to see is heavy inflation. And that is going to happen because there is really no other way that anybody can think of at this point here to spur on the economy. So, again, the markets are on pins and needles. They don't know what to do at this particular point because, again, they may have taken it off the table at this particular meeting, but that does not mean that it's not going to go forward. In fact, as we're taping the show right now, President Obama is on television. He's talking about the situations in Europe, and he's saying that Euro leaders need to inject capital into the ailing banks. Well, that's exactly what QE3 is. That's what happened in 2008 with Lehman, and that's when the stock market actually rallied and then dropped from 14,000 down to 6,500. They injected capital back into the market, into the trillions of dollars, and the markets came back. So I'm positive that they are going to do this. It's just a matter of when they're going to do it, and it could easily happen, during or right at the end of the summer. Now, all you have to do is read the headlines to realize how dire things are and how concerning things are and why we need to have insurance against these situations happening. You see, we're just small investors. We're not the George Soros and the Warren Buffetts of the world. We're not sitting here with billions of dollars in our portfolio, in our bank account. We're hardworking Canadians that have had a little bit of success and want to protect what we have. What chance do we have against these type of scenarios? Listen to what's in the newsletter this week. QE to infinity here and into your land is as sure as death and taxes. Former hedge fund fearful forecast. We're looking at the biggest economic shock the world has ever seen, and there's nothing that we can do to stop it. George Soros. Euros has 3 months to stem the euro crisis. Just so you know, George Soros is a billionaire investor who predicted certain trends. In fact, he became famous and made most of his money when he broke the Bank of England and shorted the British pound. He's the one that's coming out and saying that Europe is basically finished, and if they don't get their act together in the next 3 months, it's done. Then they come on to say that beware of a rerun of the Great Panic of 2008. The head of the World Bank warned that financial markets face a rerun of the Great Panic of 2008. I don't think we need to be reminded that the stock markets plummeted in half, and everything that happened at that particular point, there was a run on the money market funds, and we were within a couple hours of seeing a total destruction of the money market funds as we know it, as people were lined up at the bank to take their money out of their bank accounts in cash. They're also warning of another 2008 Lehman crisis happening. The AIG chief sees retirement age as high as 80 after this crisis. Gary Schilling explains why the S&P 500 will plunge to 800 this year. Obviously, he doesn't feel that there's going to be quantitative easing 3, but he's saying that it'll plunge to 800 this year. All of his bearish predictions are in this newsletter, but they're all on equities. Barry Reinholtz is saying that the S&P could fall for years and drop to 850, and the risky Toronto Stock Exchange is now scarier than ever. Ultra-wealthy are shunning stocks. All of this is in the newsletter. J.P. Morgan faces $4.2 billion in trading losses. Now, at first it was $3 billion. Now it's $4.2 billion, and it was actually higher than that. And a lot of this was caused by derivatives. They didn't know how to get out of these derivative positions. How scary is this? This was one of the first indications of how risky those derivative markets are. And the derivative market is not a small market. It's not a multi-billion-dollar market. It's not a multi-trillion-dollar market. It's a market that's in the $40 to $50 trillion range, and the major fear is that nobody understands how to get out of this market. It's unregulated, and basically we could see the derivative market actually be the destruction of the financial markets. So, reading all these headlines, reading every day and understanding what's happening in the world economies in Europe and the United States and all over, again, I pose the question to us, what does the small investor do? How do we get through these difficult times when countries can't figure out themselves how to get their act together? They're going bankrupt. Their banks are going under. In Spain today on Friday, as we're taping the show, one of the reasons the markets dropped initially was because they downgraded the banks. So again, this is going to happen all throughout Europe. It's happened in the United States. There's repercussions from what happens in Europe to other banks around the world. Again, what does a small investor do? I've been through these type of scenarios before. I've been in the investment business for 35 years. I've been through the run-up in inflation in gold and silver and oil and currency devaluations back in the late 70s and early 80s. I've traded the markets back then, and this is basically a rerun of what we saw back then, if not at a different level. So basically, from my experience, what we need to do is we need to be very conservative during these times. Some people see these situations and these risky opportunities as opportunity. I basically see them as an opportunity to remain very, very cautious and not to take any speculative positions in the market. If there is a chance that the Dow and the TSX can drop in half again, and there's certainly a chance, we saw it in 2008 for very similar reasons to what we have right now, if there's a chance that the Dow and the TSX could drop in half, why do we want to have our money sitting in such a risky position? If there's any chance of that happening again, it makes absolutely no sense for us to do that. If there is a chance that we are going to see massive inflation, then why would we not want to have the right type of assets that are going to help us benefit from high inflation? If we get high inflation, it means because the price of food and the price of oil has skyrocketed in most commodities as the dollar sinks. So what's going to happen with high inflation? There's only very few investments that will protect you against high inflation. One is gold, two is silver, three is diamonds. So the fact is that if we have an excellent chance, and the Federal Reserve came out yesterday, on Thursday actually, and came out and said that the fear of inflation is certainly there, and that's why they're holding off on quantitative easing 3. So basically the Federal Reserve is admitting that there's a danger of inflation coming. So if there's a danger of inflation, we need to be in the type of assets that are going to protect us, because inflation means that the cost of your living is going to go higher. If your income remains the same, but the cost of heating your home, filling your gas tank, and putting food on the table costs you more, something is going to have to give. Your standard of living is going to have to drop. But it doesn't have to if you have the right investments, because back in 1979 and 80, gold and silver skyrocketed because of high inflation. And gold went to $850 from $35, and silver went from $1.25 all the way up to $50. We've got a similar situation. You know, with all the concerns in the market and everything happening and Europe falling apart and all the risk in the United States markets and everything, the high that we saw in gold was 1,900. We're basically sitting at 1,600 with all this fear in the market, and that shows you how strong gold is. Silver is still trading at around the $28 to $30 level. Don't forget, when we first started buying this market, it was back at $4. There's a very good chance that gold will still end up the year at $1,900 or above. I do believe that that is going to happen. I do believe that silver is going to trade possibly $42 to $50 or higher, depending on how strong the fundamentals are going into the latter part of this year. Again, this year, we're fighting certain scenarios. We're fighting an election in the United States where they're trying to make things look better than they are. We're fighting a situation in Europe where it's basically falling apart, and most people can't understand the ramifications of a country going bankrupt. But believe me, it is severe. And if we don't protect ourselves, if we don't take out insurance against these scenarios, we're going to be like 90% of the people out there, and we're going to lose our money. And that defeats the purpose of what we've been doing for the last 10 years. We need to be smart about this, and we need insurance. If you buy insurance on your car, your home, your life, your health, and everything like that, you need to have insurance against these type of financial fiascos. And the best way to do that is to own some gold physically, some silver physically, and to invest in rare-colored diamonds. Those are the three major assets that are very safe and will protect you against high inflation. And again, in the 35 years that I've been in business and in the investment business, I've seen almost everything, and there is no doubt in my mind which direction we're going. We'll remain very volatile, but the fact is that gold is going to go substantially higher, and silver will be a triple-digit number. We'll see silver over $100 to $200 before this whole situation is over, and there's still no doubt in my mind that the only reason that the U.S. dollar is strong right now is primarily because the euro is so weak. And if Greece goes off the euro, they're going to go back on their old currency, the drachma, and you're going to see that their inflation is going to be skyrocketing because their currency will be a quarter of what the euro is at this particular point. Spain in the same scenario, and so is Italy. So these scenarios are much, much bigger than us. Again, what does the small investor do to protect himself? Because let's face it, we work hard for our money, and we cannot afford at this particular point to make a mistake. If there's a chance that stocks are going to plummet in half, why do we want to have all of our money in the stock market? It makes absolutely no sense. In fact, my feeling is on stocks at this point is that it's so risky is that, number one, it could skyrocket if they come out with quantitative easing 3, but it will plummet if they don't. So here's a scenario that we're only going to guess at this point here what's going to happen. I think that quantitative easing 3 is going to come. I think we're going to have a massive rally in commodities. I think gold is going to take off and break the $1,900 level, and I think silver is going to get back up to 50 or higher. I'm very bullish on those markets. I think that we're going to see stocks rally if they come out with QE3, but I agree with these analysts that say if they don't come out with QE3, that stocks are going to drop in half. So what you need to do is you need to be very cautious at this particular point and diversify yourself. You need to own some physical gold. You need to own some physical silver. One of the most important things you could own are diamonds at this point, and we'll talk about that in the second half of the show. There's some very exciting things happening there, and you've got to lighten up on your stock purchases because, again, we could literally see this market fall in half, and we've seen that happen in 2000 or in 1999. We barely recovered from that. That's when the NASDAQ dropped from 5,000 down to 2,500, actually down to 2,000. And then we saw stocks drop in 2008 from 14,000 down to 6,500. We can't recover from this again. So we need to keep some cash on hand. We need to minimize our risk in paper assets, and you need to own some physical hard assets like gold, silver, and diamonds, and keep cash available because you may need it. That's my game plan for what we're doing going forward. Again, we can modify it as they come out with other situations like QE1, like QE3, but at this particular point, until we know what the Fed is going to do, we need to remain very conservative so we don't take a chance of losing our money. There will be plenty of opportunities to make an awful lot of money. Right now, the most important thing is to protect what we have. Gold, silver, diamonds are proven in this type of an economy to do extremely well. And again, going forward, I don't see anything better than gold, silver, and diamonds.
Later in the show, second half of the show, we'll talk about diamonds. We'll talk about Harold's website, hsfineauctions.com. He has a new auction coming up. We'll talk about it. The one company Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in precious metals, Worldwide Precious Metals. Canadian company, in business for over 10 years. It's their 10th anniversary. They're a leader not only in Canada but around the world when it comes to being a bullion dealer. They have anniversary incentives. If you'd like to learn more about starting your own precious metals investment account today, 1-866-623-2002, the number to call. The website, wwpmc.com. Get your name on the list for our free weekly newsletter. It's the companion to our radio show. You can go through and see the material that Harold and I are reading on a weekly basis. We send it out free of charge via email. Get your name on the list, the telephone number to invest in precious metals, get our free weekly newsletter, 1-866-623-2002. The website is wwpmc.com. Jim Sinclair said this week, quantitative easing to infinity here, meaning the United States, and in the Euroland is as sure as death and taxes. Denials are also as sure as death and taxes before it occurs. There is no other possibility. He basically goes on to say, who could be so stupid as to think they would announce it today, meaning yesterday when Ben Bernanke spoke in front of Congress. Obviously, he wasn't going to say, yes, we will do quantitative easing. Although if you read the quantitative easing section of our newsletter, we have a whole host of stories. As we mentioned, the Wall Street Journal's John Hilsenrath is very connected. It is on the table for their next meeting. A lot of Fed governors who will help make the decision on quantitative easing are coming out and saying something must be done. Eric Sprott was quoted this week as saying, we have financial chaos. So much so that we have to assume quantitative easing 3 is coming. QE3, that's printing money and buying your own bonds, which is just printing money, he says. We're in a very chaotic state, and there really is only one safe place to be, and he believes that is precious metals. The other side of inflation, and this is something that Harold talked about, when you're in a deleveraging cycle that we're in right now, which could go on for 20 years, where governments pay down debt, individuals pay down debt, you get into a deflationary scenario. And it was interesting, ZeroHedge.com had a chart, and we have it in our newsletter, and this is, for the first time on record, based on Bloomberg's data, the 5-year forward inflation expectations turned negative. This kind of deflationary impulse has occurred twice in recent years, and each time it has been accompanied by dramatic Federal Reserve easing. The anticipation moving forward is that gold will go to $2,200 based on the Fed and quantitative easing because of this deflationary threat. That is the story that we need to tell you. Deflation is a huge scare for governments. And Ben Bernanke, the reason they call him Helicopter Ben is he gave a speech about basically spreading money via helicopter if you got into a deflationary scenario. And the way to do it right now is quantitative easing, and that is a huge positive for hard assets. One of the other stories that was very important this week, Stephen Lieb, and this is an interview from King World News you can read in our newsletter. Chinese gold imports, they spiked to a staggering record level. Today, the Chinese had record imports of roughly 104 tons of gold from Hong Kong. The point is the Chinese are pretty smart about this, and they are buying gold in record amounts. Harold, with about a minute left in this first segment, that is a huge positive when you have somebody like Eric Sprott coming out saying it's a perfect environment for gold. You have the Chinese buying 100 tons of gold. That's smart money, and you need to follow the smart money.
You bet. You know, the confusing thing is, though, Randy, is that we hear how much gold India buys and Russia buys and China buys, but because it's not being bought on an exchange, it doesn't seem to affect the market. But what it does is it eats up all of the physical, gold bullion type of things. So, again, I agree with you 100%. Follow the smart money. The money that's being spent on gold physically right now is where most of the money is going to. It's a smart investment. We're going to have high inflation, and again, gold, silver, and diamonds are the way to go.
As we had spoken about in the past when we started our show, it was central banks selling gold. Now central banks are buying gold, which is a huge positive for hard assets. The other thing to keep in mind is that we have this story in the newsletter. India's rich. They're heading for gold, and they're trying to get their money out of the financial system. And if, as we talked about on the last show, that gold is able to be used for backing bonds or as a tier 1 asset for banks, central banks, you could see a revaluation in gold much, much higher than it is today. That would take silver along with it, of course. To invest in precious metals, the telephone number 1-866-623-2002, wwpmc.com. Speak with Worldwide. They have 10-year anniversary incentives. 1-866-623-2002, the website wwpmc.com. Going to come back and talk about the auction Harold has coming up and diamonds. As the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping this show on June the 8th, 2012. Our time is 9:09 Mountain, 11:09 Eastern. The radio show runs in Toronto, AM 640 in Toronto, 630 CHED Edmonton, QR 77 in Calgary. The show is archived. Harold has two websites, rarecoloreddiamonds.com and HESradio.com. The shows are on there. You can sign up for our podcast, listen to the radio show via iTunes. Take us anywhere you go. We are portable. If you ever miss a radio show, go back and listen to it via iTunes or on Harold's websites. There's only one company that Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in precious metals. They're the experts in this very specialized field. They're there to help you profit and protect the money that you have. They're Worldwide Precious Metals, 10 years in business. They have 10-year anniversary incentives. Speak to them about that when it comes to starting your own precious metals investment account today. The telephone number to connect with them, 1-866-623-2002. Their website is wwpmc.com. You can get our free weekly newsletter from Worldwide or from Harold Siegel. And in our newsletter this week, we have our charts of the week, also quotes and quick hits, information on diamonds, gold, silver, palladium, quantitative easing 3, the sovereign debt crisis, U.S. debt and deficit, and the real estate market. Get the newsletter from Worldwide, wwpmc.com, 1-866-623-2002. Harold's website for diamonds is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. On that website, there is a featured diamond. Go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, click on the featured diamond of the week. And I love green, the color green, one of my favorite colors. And this week we have a diamond that is 0.69 carat radiant cut, fancy, vivid green diamond. You can see the video of this diamond on the website. We have it in our newsletter, the diamond section. The color on this diamond is stunning. I have never seen anything like this in my life. You must see this video. Go on to Harold's website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, click on the featured diamond of the week, and take a look at that diamond. It is stunning. Little bit of auction news. Christie's had a Paris jewel sale, and they sold a fancy yellow circular cut diamond ring, and it topped the Christie's Paris jewel sale, which was on June the 6th. Should mention, the fancy yellow diamond ring sold for $623,000, or around $24,000 per carat. The estimate on it was around $400,000. That was the only colored diamond in the auction. But Harold, that fancy yellow diamond ring, and you can see a picture of it. We have it in the newsletter when you click on the link. Simply stunning. But once again, colored diamonds doing very well at auction. And you have an auction.
Yes, we do. Last one for the summer. It's going to be on Tuesday, June the 19th. This is going to be a very simple auction. It's going to be a lot of fun. And for all those out there that want to get involved in the rare colored diamond market but don't have a ton of money, we're going to auction off some beautiful flawless yellows, and a lot of them will be under $10,000. Just slightly under a carat, some beautiful diamonds. A lot of them will be up over the weekend, so go to hsfineauctions.com. And those that want to get into the diamond market, you're going to get an opportunity, and this will be the last one till we come back in October. So again, we're very excited about it. Go to hsfineauctions.com this weekend. Look at our collection that we're going to put up, and you're going to be able to buy some yellow flawless diamonds, some beautiful diamonds, and a lot of them will be under $10,000. So you're going to have a great opportunity to get into the one of the best investments you can make, especially for high inflation. These yellow flawless diamonds, they increase by about 25% a year. They double every 4 years, and during times of high inflation, they have gone up 500% in 1979 and 80. We anticipate similar movements as inflation really starts to pick up around the world, and that's why we're having this last auction. We want to give our clients an opportunity to get involved in the market, and for those that don't have a lot of money to invest, you're going to be able to invest in some amazing diamonds at phenomenal prices. I want to make certain that before prices go up in September, that our clients get an opportunity to get some diamonds in their portfolio. Also, if you go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, the site has never looked better than it does right now. All of our diamonds are videoed, and we invested in that technology so you, the client, can see basically how these diamonds look from every aspect. They're amazing. They're so beautiful. Yellow flawless diamonds are great investments, and you know, the beautiful thing is that we really were the first ones to bring it to the forefront. There was never any reports on these type of diamonds before, and basically at auction, they never did all that great. However, the top diamonds at auction right now are the diamonds that we recommend. The yellow flawlesses, the argyle pinks, and the D flawlesses. All those diamonds are making records at auction, and those are the diamonds that we specialize in, and those are the diamonds that we recommended many, many years ago when the prices were ridiculously low. And the prices are still reasonable. We anticipate that the price of these diamonds will skyrocket in price as the situations in Europe and the world world get more severe. And as inflation picks up, and there's no way that we're not going to have high inflation, this is one of the best investments you could make, and there's no risk to them. They never, ever fall in price. So look at the yellow flawless diamonds. We carry 4 different colors. Fancy light yellow, they go for about $15,000 a carat. The fancy yellows, they start at about $20,000 a carat to $25,000 in that area. The fancy intense yellow flawlesses, they're up to about $35,000 a carat. And the fancy vivid yellow, which is the best color of all, the strongest color, those are up to $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a carat. So you can get involved in yellow flawless diamonds in those price ranges. However, if you have under $15,000, attend the auction on June the 19th. This will be your opportunity to buy beautiful yellow flawless diamonds at phenomenal prices, diamonds that you'll do tremendously well with, and just put those away for the next 10 years, and you can see those diamonds double every 4 years in price. We love the pink diamonds from the Argyle mine. The Argyle mine is going to close before 2018, and 95% of the world's pink diamonds come from the Argyle mine in Australia. Once that mine closes, we anticipate that the price of pink Argyle diamonds will increase 10 times what the prices are today. Just so you know, the price of an Argyle versus a non-Argyle, Argyles are at least double the price of diamonds that are not Argyle pink diamonds. We carry D flawless white diamonds and probably have the largest inventory in the world of D flawless whites. Not all of my D flawless whites are on this website. Some of them are so ridiculously rare that they're in the multi-millions of dollars. We actually have a D flawless white that sells for over $30 million. However, these diamonds are phenomenal. They double in price in 3 to 4 years or less, and they are the most sought-after white diamonds in the world. In fact, only 0.001% of all white diamonds turn out to be D flawlesses, and they're just amazing investments. Got some gorgeous blues. We're the only company that has red diamonds, the rarest diamonds in the world. We've invested very heavily in green diamonds. Green diamonds will catch up to blue diamonds very quickly. Green diamonds are just stunning, and to look at the featured diamond this week, all you have to do is look at the diamond and understand how special that diamond is. You'll never see diamonds like this. Fancy vivid greens, fancy vivid blues, fancy vivid yellows and pinks. They just don't exist for most companies, but this is where I invested most of my money so my clients can do well in the rare colored diamond market. So go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Look at our investing in diamonds section. We're the only company that has a historical price tracking system that will tell you what certain diamonds were back 30 years ago, what they are today, and what they'll be 10 and 20 years from now. Look at what yellow diamonds did in 1980 when they were $500 a carat, and they're now $20,000 a carat. And we carry the most beautiful of all yellow flawless diamonds, starting at under a carat and going to over 30 carats. I've got a 30-carat fancy intense yellow internally flawless diamond for about $1,400,000. But again, those are one-of-a-kind diamonds that you'll never, ever see anywhere else. So again, the rare colored diamond market is on fire. All you have to do is look at the last several auctions and see what these diamonds have done at auction and understand why they're a phenomenal investment. But also understand that the world is falling apart. And as I said in the earlier part of the show, we're just smaller investors. We need to do what we need to do to take care of our family and our livelihood, and that includes making the type of investments that you probably never made before. They're called alternative investments, and diamonds fall into that category. Why you would want to invest in diamonds? The Europeans call them real estate in your pocket. You can literally walk around with a multi-million-dollar diamond in your pocket and nobody would even know about it. But you can't take more than $10,000 in cash and cross a border. These are portable private wealth, real estate in your pocket, could be sold in another currency, and the best example of that is that at our auctions, we're finding that our investors from Europe, especially in England, are buying most of our collectibles because of the difference in currency, that the British pound is worth so much more than the American dollar that they're getting a 35 to 40% break on the currency alone. So that's another reason to buy and invest in diamonds, because when we sell our diamonds for you, or sell your diamonds for you, we are going to sell them in parts of the world where we're going to get a stronger currency. And we are the only company that can resell your diamonds. I know there's been a lot of firms that have popped up, especially in Toronto, that are trying to get into the rare colored diamond market. Number one, they don't have the inventory or the money that we have to accomplish what they need to do. And number two, they have absolutely no way of reselling your diamonds for you. We invested in our own auction site two and a half years ago. We built the only real-time live auction site, and it is strictly for our clients to resell their high-quality and high-end collectibles like gold pieces, silver pieces, platinum pieces, emeralds, rubies, and sapphire, and mostly colored diamonds. So again, we built this for you, the listener, our client, to resell their diamonds and high-end collectibles, and nobody else in the world has this. We built this for you to be certain to create a secondary market to resell, and this has never, ever been done before. But then again, not bragging, we've done things that most companies would never ever do. Again, we brought rare colored diamonds to the forefront before anybody even really knew about them, and now every week that goes by, there's articles on how amazing these diamonds are doing at auction for investment purposes. So we built rarecoloreddiamonds.com for our clients, and we built H. Siegel Fine Auction for our clients to resell their diamonds. And again, nobody else gives their clients the opportunity to make money in the diamond market like we do. We've gained tremendous clients from Europe that, again, have frequented every auction and are participating because of the currency markets. And, again, the currency markets are of tremendous benefit if you know how to play them. And I've played the currency markets for the last 35 years. My job is to help the listeners and clients to my radio show make money and protect themselves, and that's what we do best. Look at the rare colored diamond market. Make certain that you sign up at hsfineauctions.com for our auction coming up on the 19th of June. The next auction will not be till sometime in October. So again, when things slow down during the summer, most Europeans are on vacation. It isn't the busiest of time. So we want to go out on June the 19th with one really fun auction. There will not be any gold and silver pieces, no emeralds, rubies, and sapphires. There will be some beautiful yellow, flawless diamonds, the type of diamonds that you want to invest in, that increase by 25% a year and double every 4 years, and during times of high inflation have gone up 500% in 2 years. On top of that, we have a purple pink diamond that's coming up for auction. Purple pink is one of the rarest colors. And one of our clients is auctioning off a near, and it's gorgeous, a Argyle pink diamond ring that he had made for his wife. It's a beautiful diamond ring. It's a fancy light pink. The color is absolutely stunning, and the ring is made from platinum, and the diamonds that surround the main diamonds have increased in price in 1 year from $900 a carat to $10,000 a carat. They're called millies, and they're almost impossible to get. Because of the shortage of them, we have invested heavily in these millies to be able to make these beautiful rings for our clients. We're about the only company that has them. So again, make certain that you do yourself a favor. If you've wanted to get into the rare colored diamond market and did not have the money to do so before, you want to attend our auction at hsfineauctions.com. It's going to be on a Tuesday evening, June the 19th. It's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern Time and 6 o'clock Mountain Time. And again, you definitely want to participate in this. There will be diamonds that will sell for under $10,000, and they'll be flawless yellow. So again, I'm very excited about this for you. There'll be a beautiful Argyle pink diamond ring, and there's going to be a purple pink diamond. So do yourself a favor, attend this auction, buy some diamonds, and protect your family and your loved ones from financial insecurity. And again, these are amongst the best investments you're going to make. Also, take a look at our beautiful featured diamond. When you see the diamond this week, you've never seen a diamond as beautiful as this. It's almost a deep green in color. It's vivid, and again, these are the rarest of all diamonds. I'm so excited to be able to bring these diamonds to you. One other thing is that we are starting to offer investment seminars for individuals and for groups. And we did our first investment seminar last night in England, in London, and it went over extremely well. It takes about an hour to do it. So if you're in an investment group or you just want to learn about rare colored diamonds, how to invest in them, and have much more information, it would be my pleasure to spend a beautiful hour with you and go over our full presentation. And it encumbers everything: what diamonds are, how they come out of the ground, how they're mined, how to read a GIA report. We actually took a diamond being cut that took 3.5 months, an over 10-carat yellow diamond, and we reduced it down to 2 minutes, and that's on the actual seminar. We actually included the making of a pink Argyle diamond ring in the seminar, and again, it's phenomenal. The people in London absolutely loved it, and we've got an opportunity to do it for our Canadian and American clients also. So if you want to learn more about investing in diamonds and you want to attend our seminar, we will do it for you on an individual or on a group basis. So go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and when you look at the featured diamond and you look at the loose diamonds and you go through the investing in diamonds section, make certain that you sign up for one of our free investment seminars. Now, just so you know, the minimum investment to invest in diamonds is $15,000, and we have diamonds that go all the way up to $40 to $50 million. So again, we can help anybody who wants to get into the rare color diamond market. And again, we're having a special auction on June the 19th at 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, to be able to bring some lower priced diamonds to clients that want to get into the diamond market but don't have $15,000 or more in which to do so. We're here to help you. We're here to help you get to where you need to go financially, and I think you're going to love this auction coming up on June the 19th.
You take a look at diamonds, on average, they go up about 10-15% a year. They're a concentrated store of value and wealth. Unlike a car that eventually can rust out or artwork that can fade over time, diamonds stand the test of time. And then on top of it, they're better than cash. You know, you can, as Harold was saying, it's portable wealth. You can have wealth in your pocket. The other beautiful angle of having a diamond in your portfolio is you can wear it. You can take it out. I remember we had a quote from the woman who originally owned the Hope Diamond, and she said one of the things about the Hope Diamond was that she could show it off. And that's another great aspect of owning diamonds. But the 5 compelling reasons: privacy, portability, great for estate planning. You can hand it down from generation to generation. Price stability and long-term growth. Those are all the great highlights as to why you want to have a diamond in your portfolio. And Harold, with this auction, is going to enable people for the first time, those that would like to add a diamond and don't have a ton of money, this is your opportunity. And if you would like to see auction results, we have auction results. In fact, there's some auctions, 2 auctions coming up next week, so we'll have some more new auction results for you next week. But we've had a slew of auctions here in the last couple of months. If you'd like to see some auction results, speak with Harold, speak with rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. And as I was talking to Harold's son, Jonathan, I've said to him, in the past, we've talked about diamonds being museum pieces, which we know they are. In fact, a pink diamond was shown during the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, a pink diamond, just last week. But it is like going to a museum, Harold, as John was saying to me, it is like going to a museum when you go to your website. You're taking a virtual tour of a museum that has some of the greatest diamonds on the planet, and you can own those diamonds and have them in your portfolio.
How exciting is that, Randy? Again, and a very good analogy, because it's true. You'll never see a vivid green diamond anywhere. They just really don't exist for the general public. So to be able to see one on our website, you're 100% true. It's like a trip through an exciting museum. And we've got some of the most beautiful diamonds you've ever seen. And we also have diamonds that are so ridiculously rare that we can't even put them up on the website. 10-carat vivid pinks and 20-carat blues, that are in the multi-millions of dollars that we won't show on the website because we don't want too many people to see them. These are, very, very, very rare diamonds. Most of our clients invest under $50,000. Most of our clients own yellow flawless diamonds put away for their future, for their retirement. They're much safer than stocks. They never go down in value. I bought these for my children when they're growing up. I've got 3 young grandchildren. They all have yellow flawless diamonds put away. Now's an excellent time to do this. And don't forget, these diamonds go up by 25% a year. We're going to see a 25% increase in September. So you've got a few months to get into the market. you. And again, because we don't mark our diamonds up very heavily, you would be in profits on these diamonds by September. We make our money when you sell your diamonds. We get 10% of the profit. So again, we try to do a phenomenal job for our clients, and we're the only company that can resell your diamonds for you, because we're the only company that built a secondary market to resell extremely high-end collectibles. I've never been more proud of the diamond business that we're bringing to our clients.
Well, Harold, we see what's going on in India and China. We know in China that a lot of people are getting engaged. They have not in the past used diamonds as engagement rings, but more and more are. People are investing in diamonds in the Asian countries that have a lot of money, are developing. There's a huge potential market there that is going to make diamonds boom. On the other side of it, the mines are not there. There was a story I read this week. I didn't put it in the newsletter because it really didn't fit, but the CEO of De Beers, there was a story about him basically praying for a major diamond mine to be found, because there hasn't been one found in so long that they're literally going, please, can we just find a big diamond mine? But they can't. And that's why diamonds are becoming more and more scarce. Speak with Harold.
100%,
Sorry.
100% right, Randy. There has not been a new mine found for 15 years, and none produce colored diamonds. So, and even if they did find one, it takes over 10 years to start producing. So we've got a major shortage in diamonds. It's a very exciting time. And again, one of the most important assets you could ever own. I'm very excited about the auction and rare colored diamonds.
So hsfineauctions.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, telephone number 1-800-432-1022. Connect with Harold. On the diamond front, obviously, you speak with Harold for precious metals. The company he recommends, Worldwide Precious Metals. Start your precious metals investment account today, 1-866-623-2002. They have 10th anniversary incentives to help you get involved in this market today. Their website, www.pmc.com. A couple of quotes I wanted to get to on silver. Silver offers an excellent opportunity for the investor to achieve capital gains. Commercial traders are carrying more long positions, meaning they're bullish on silver now than in 2008 when silver was at $10. At almost $28 now, silver is trading at more than double that price. Commercial traders clearly see excellent value here. The best way to play silver is to buy the physical metal and wait patiently. It will likely follow gold at first and then outperform it. That according to Maurice Hubbard out of Vancouver. Goldcore out of Ireland saying this week, silver remains undervalued from a historical perspective, and from that all-important inflation-adjusted perspective, this means that reaching the record nominal high of $50 an ounce remains a possibility this year. Longer term, the inflation-adjusted 1980 high of $140 remains realistic, especially given the increasing uses of silver in various industrial applications and silver's increasing investment demand, especially in Asia, where silver is now cheaper than gold, so they're buying it as an alternative. One story you want to take a look at is Jason Hommel saying that he believes we could see silver head to $75 to $125 in the next 1 to 2 years. Get our newsletter, read the articles, educate yourself, listen to our radio show. The telephone number to invest in precious metals, 1-866-623-2002. www.pmc.com. Get our newsletter from Worldwide. Ask them about the incentives they have right now to start your own precious metals investment account. And Harold, with about a minute left, we're excited about the auction you have. People can go to your website. This will be the 6th auction, and people can go to your website and take a look, hsfineauctions.com, take a look at the diamonds that will be featured.
You bet. It's very, very exciting. Again, we're very excited to have this one last auction. We have a lot of our listeners who asked us if we could do an auction for lower priced diamonds. We've listened. We're doing it for you, so make certain that you attend. It's going to be an amazing time. I want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend, a very profitable day, and we all want to say goodbye to a great analyst that's really given us a lot of great information over the years. He passed away this week, Bob Chapman, who writes, an amazing newsletter. I believe he was in his 80s, but he's really done a great job for the metals industry, and we're all going to miss him.
Yes, Bob Chapman wrote the International Forecaster, and we used articles that he had put on the internet in our newsletter, and he died of pancreatic cancer. He was 76 years old, but tip of the hat to Bob Chapman. Thank you very much, Harold Siegel, for a great show.
It's my pleasure. I wish everybody, again, a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
Yes, we are in crazy financial times. George Soros saying this week the Eurozone has about 3 months to get its act together. CBO warning the United States they need to get its act together. Now is the time for hard assets. Learn about investing in precious metals. wwpmc.com. Call 1-866-623-2002. Rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The diamond telephone number 1-800-432-1022. And talk about auctions. hsfineauctions.com. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.